without further ado, allow me to introduce our first speaker of the day. She's a machine learning researcher at Thinking Machines Data Science and a lecturer at the University of the Philippines, Diliman. So she designs machine learning models around classification and community detection and has published 3 academic papers on 3D reconstruction, image classification, and image extraction. So she holds a master's degree in electrical engineering from UP Diliman as well. Let us give our warmest welcome to Rangel Daroya.
Hi guys. Can you hear me properly?
Yes, we can,
Okay,
Rangel. So nice to have you here.
Happy to be here. So thanks so much for inviting me today. So I'll be talking a little bit about data science in the Philippines. I can share my screen. Give me a moment. Can you see it properly?
Yes, we can, Rangel.
Okay, great. All right. So before I actually start my talk, let's do like a bit of an icebreaker. I hope like to, get everyone comfortable. So this is like a casual talk. You guys can ask me questions throughout, like if you want to understand more about what I'm saying. Okay, so let's just do a quick icebreaker. So I just want to know how everyone is feeling today. So to do that, kind of as a preview as well, I'll have you guys answer it through an online voting link, and then what'll happen is I should see your answers here. Okay, so I just want to know how everyone's feeling today. So to answer the question, please go to this website, so www.menti.com, and use this code. Alternatively, I can send the link in the chat. So I just sent the link that everyone can just click, and then you can. Okay, so nice. So these are like live, so I can see your answers coming in live right now. Great. Okay, this is really great. So I see that a lot of people are excited today. That's really good. So in a word cloud, the biggest words you see is like the general sentiment of the audience. So I can see that everyone's just feeling great, excited, okay, nervous, shy. Yeah, okay, great. So thanks for participating so well with this, guys. So really happy that everyone's mostly stoked about this whole event. Okay. Right. Yeah, so this is I guess one of the visualizations we use as well, like as part of data science, like we use word clouds sometimes depending on the use case. So this is like a sneak peek, right, of what data science can offer you. Like can give you visualizations of data coming from different people. So right now we have like more than 100 people giving us information, giving us data, and we're able to visualize it live because of tools that data science can offer us. So like this is an example. So yeah, you can keep like posting or answering through this website, and maybe later at the end of the talk we can revisit and just see what everyone has to say. So yeah, thanks. I hope everyone's as hyped as the word cloud says. So I'll go ahead, I guess, and talk about basically the topic for today, which is data science in the Philippines. Okay, so the agenda for my talk is an icebreaker. So we had that a little bit. And then I'll try to go over these few topics over here. So introducing data science. Maybe it's something not everyone is familiar with yet. So maybe that's why you're here. You want to learn more about data science. So I'll try to introduce it to everyone here, and hopefully be able to get a better idea about this field. Then I'll talk a little bit about data science in the Philippines, like what are some projects that we've done applicable to us here, like how is it relevant to us Filipinos or to our country. And if that piques your interest, like you start to get interested with data science, like I'll try to get you started. So you might end up asking, okay, what can I do to become involved in this field? So I'll try to delve a little bit into that. And then at the end, let's have a Q&A. So whatever questions you might have for me. All right, so let's dive into it. A little bit of introduction before I start. So, I'm Rangel Daroya. So that's Angel with an R at the beginning. I'm a machine learning researcher at Think Machine Data Science. So what does that mean? So what does it exactly mean to be an MLR, machine learning researcher here? So I deal a lot with data. I do data cleaning, checking, developing models, doing data analysis, experimentation, and communicating with clients. So basically my work is what I'll be sharing with you guys today. So data science is really like the backbone of the company. So I'm working for Thinking Machines, and Thinking Machines is a company that uses data to solve business problems. So it was founded in 2015 by Stanford graduates and startup veterans. And through the company, we're able to deliver quality data science platforms for our different clients. Basically it's just data science. So data science is really our main product, I would say, that using this field, we're able to help a lot of people, a lot of companies. And you might be asking, how are we able to do that? What exactly is data science? So that's where we go to this section. Okay, so data science is a field, so data science, right? So it's like science using data. With that data, we're able to actually extract knowledge and wisdom. So for example, like a relatable example, say there's a baby, right? So a baby is like a newborn human in this world. And as a baby grows older, that person gets to learn more things about the environment. So for example, the first time a baby gets to walk, like it'll start exploring the environment, and then suddenly this baby, say, touches this light switch and then presses that. And what happens is like once the baby presses that button, a light goes off or a light goes on. And eventually, as more experiences like that happen to that baby, so the more that baby presses these light switches, the baby would start to understand, like, okay, so whenever I see a switch like this and I press it, either a light will go on or a light will go off, etc. Right? So what's happening here is the baby is trying to gather a lot of data or a lot of information from his or her surroundings. And through this accumulation of data and information, the baby is able to know and realize that, okay, I know what this switch does. So maybe if I see another switch in a different place, then it would turn a corresponding light bulb or turn off corresponding light bulb in a different location. So the baby can like generalize it to several facets of his or her life eventually as well. So like when he grows up or she grows up, like, I know what a light switch does. I know what it's used for and what it can do. And that's how data science works as well. But instead of like having humans like feeding data to humans, it's more of we're feeding this data to machines and programs and software. And like all these machines like learn from these data that we give them and kind of learn how to understand the environment, interact with the environment, so people like us can make better decisions. So in recent years, we started to accumulate a lot of data, like say from YouTube, like we get lots of public videos that we can use to teach machines how to understand our world, how to interpret the things that are happening around us. And in the end, they can help us make decisions better. So this abundance of data actually paved the way for several applications. And so just this pyramid, so this is what we call the DIKW pyramid. This just shows us that data is like the foundation of the things that data science can give us. Data science can give the most in these top two levels. So if we're able to utilize data and information properly, it can give us knowledge and wisdom. So just like with the baby example, right? So the baby is now able to understand that, okay, this is what a switch does. To give you another example, so just to make this a little bit more clear, for example, I have a data point. I observe that when I looked out the window, I observed that it's raining. So that's a data point. So that goes to this part of the pyramid. So the data is it's raining. And my information is in the past hour, before it rained, I actually noticed that the temperature up, it got a little bit colder. And at the same time, it became a bit more humid. So the humidity went up, the temperature went down. So using those two information, my knowledge would be that, okay, why is it, like, I'll probably ask myself, why is it that the temperature dropped and the humidity increased before it rained? The knowledge that you can get from those two is that you will find out, like if you do a little bit of research, you'll find out that this increase in humidity and drop in temperature are actually caused by mga low pressure areas, like the ones you hear in the news, right? When may bagyo, like there's a low pressure area. So those low pressure areas are the ones causing the temperature drop and the humidity increase. And because of that, the atmosphere will start to hold more water or moisture, and that causes the rain. So that's the knowledge that we can get. So from just it's raining and I know the temperature dropped and the humidity increased, I can actually use that to do a little bit more searching and find out that, okay, it's actually a low pressure area that's causing the atmosphere to hold, unable to hold like water and thus rain. And in the future, the wisdom that we can get is if we start to notice these things happening, like if the temperature suddenly dropped, the humidity went up, like it matches the certain conditions that we set before about raining, then we'd be able to make some sort of software that predicts that, okay, it might rain at this time or at this day because we observe this temperature drop or this humidity, things like that. And that's the wisdom that you can get from data science. So just by using past information, just by using this data, we'd be able to somehow predict what will happen in the future. And that's kind of like the magic with it. The magic that comes with the field, because it's like, hey, I'm like able to predict the future just from past information, right? And that's why it's such an exciting field. And yeah, I'm glad to know that everyone's excited to know more about it as well. So yeah, just a little bit more illustration. Maybe this is something you've seen in social media, but basically, if it's data, it's just like a bunch of blobs. Information gives color to it. Knowledge, you're able to make the connections, and with insight and wisdom, actually give the path or the best course of action that you can take, given the initial set of data. Okay, so yeah, it's like predicting future based on past information, and it's actually culmination of different fields. It's not just computer science, it's actually math, statistics, biology, and several other fields that you can use to understand and analyze events. Like with the rain example a while ago, right? So I actually used like some science behind the atmosphere and like the weather. And that's why data has become a very valuable resource throughout the years, because like with past information, historical information, there's so much you can get, like insights, and even make a model that predicts the future, right? So yeah, and given this, so maybe you're starting to ask yourself, if data science is so important, then maybe other people should have already seen its value. Like if there's so much we can do with data and there's so much data available, then other people should utilize it to like become more efficient, become able to use their resources to their fullest extent. And that is true. So that's why we've been able to have a lot of clients throughout the years. We've worked with both the private sector and the public sector, and they're all very happy with the things that data science can do for them, because they've had successful deployments. They're able to understand what their customers need and how they can best deliver. Okay. So how exactly do we help these clients? We help them in 4 key areas to better utilize their data. So we help them strategize, basically how to help them understand what data or how data exactly can achieve their goals. Second is engineering. So how do we scale up these solutions that we propose with your data to the whole Philippines, for example? How do we apply it to all your customers in the Philippines or your customers in Southeast Asia? It takes some engineering focus, as well as machine learning to predict things. So this is the software I was talking about a while ago. So this is called machine learning. This is the part that actually does the predicting for us. So it gets all the past information, all the data, processes it, and gives us the wisdom and the insight to know what to do in the future. So like, yeah, this is like one of the core things that we also develop for the clients, as well as of course visualization. So this machine learning models would give us like the numbers, but not everyone would be able to appreciate that. So it's important to have visualization. So for example, a mobile app, going back to the example a while ago of predicting the rain, then maybe we can develop like a mobile app that tells you or gives you an alert that, okay, maybe tomorrow at 5 p.m. it's gonna rain, so you have to wear your raincoat, you have to bring an umbrella when you go out, and it gives people the proper steps to take that would help them. So it doesn't stop with like the prediction, okay, it's gonna rain. It's also evaluating how it can help people. And that's where visualization comes in. So this is also very important to properly communicate to the end users how this information can be used properly. So basically, the point of creating value for these organizations, so the way we want to help them through data science is because we want to give them the ability to provide better services and products for people like you and me. So for example, through data, they're able to discover that, hey, people actually need and want fast internet speeds. And through that, they'd be able to address it quickly. So it's like a fast feedback loop between the customers and the businesses or the providers. So yeah, it's pretty important. Okay, so just to give you a better, like more concrete way of showing you like the things we've delivered, the data science projects we've delivered so far in the Philippines or even in Southeast Asia, I'll try to go through 3 use cases we've done so far. So first, this is a data science application we did recently for UNDP. So UNDP is a United Nations Development Program, and their goal is to eradicate poverty. So the case study is understanding poverty in the Philippines with artificial intelligence. So UNDP wanted to identify the most vulnerable areas of the Philippines for poverty alleviation because they want to know where to give help, right? Like which locations need more help, how can we deploy the resources there. So what we did is we augmented the surveys that they had using a machine learning model so we can tell UNDP exactly which cities have the highest poverty rate. Before, what they had to do was like they had to ask people to really go to the cities in the Philippines. Like imagine how many islands we have, right? And like imagine having to deploy people to go to all cities in the Philippines. That's pretty hard. It takes a lot of time and resources. And instead of putting it there, maybe they can just reallocate those resources to actually helping people who need help. Like for people who have high rates of poverty, or for cities that have high rates of poverty, they probably need more resources, and UNDP can allocate better to that. So instead of having people actually go there, we just developed a model that tells UNDP from afar that, okay, you can just go to these places and then give help there. So yeah, it's pretty good for socio-civic analysis and data-driven intervention from UNDP. Second use case is understanding the impact of COVID-19 using satellite imagery and nighttime light. So recently, there's been like lockdowns everywhere. Actually, maybe last year, mostly in 2020 when this whole thing started. And what we wanted to do was understand the effects and impacts of this lockdown throughout Southeast Asia. And why is this important? So that decision makers can use this to monitor the impact and plan towards recovery in the future. So it kind of helps them understand the extent of the impact of the lockdown so they can act accordingly. And how we did this is we used a time series analysis method. So another like data science toolkit to quantify the changes in nighttime lights. Yeah. And then finally, we have this mapping new informal settlements. So we used satellite imagery to quickly detect areas where so we used sorry. Okay, so we use satellite imagery to quickly detect areas where new informal settlements have appeared in the past year. So this was to help the Colombian government to identify, because like Venezuela started to migrate to Colombia before because of some issues. So they wanted to know which specific areas had this surge in informal settlement so they can deploy help quickly. So we used kind of similar to the previous use case. We used machine learning to create kind of a map to see where the informal settlements are. So yeah, it's basically to help allocate resources better and deploy help to the people in need. Okay. So for the last segment, so this is the last section. So I hope like at this point you start to understand the impact and the help data science can give. So how exactly can you start? Okay. So I'll start with the skills, knowledge, and values that you need to start a career in data science. So first is you need curiosity, attention to detail, open-mindedness, as well as being a team player, because you won't be actually working by yourself. You need, if you remember the 4 key areas I mentioned a while ago, we don't expect one person to actually give all of those. It's usually group work, like among different people from engineering, strategy, machine learning, etc. So it's very important to know how to work with a team. In terms of knowledge and skills, it's important to have critical and analytical thinking, as well as creativity. And of course, coding and job-specific knowledge and how to communicate the models you created, the impact, etc. Okay, so what can you do next? You can learn outside of class. You can participate in events like this to learn more about Python and data science and actually start coding. I put links here. Maybe I can kind of send you guys references later after the talk. You can also follow through conferences, like read papers or like watch YouTube videos. Like there are lots of like 2-minute papers on YouTube that maybe you guys can watch if you want to just, get a high level knowledge of data science and like the different methodologies you can explore. But basically, I would say it's very important to start coding. And join events like this. It's really important to have like a community that supports being able to learn Python and data science. So yeah, I really think this is a good opportunity for you guys, and it's really great that everyone's here and excited to learn. So yeah, read blogs and Twitter feeds, as well as finding jobs or internships with experienced data science. Yeah, so just to conclude my talk, so basically data science allows us to make actionable and impactful recommendations given past information. So it's like magic, right? It's like predicting the future given all this data. It involves several fields, and if you want to start doing data science, you can start anytime and join events like this. So just for like a personal touch, so I guess for me, I like being in this field because it's the intersection of these 3 things. So it's my passion. I think it delivers a lot of social impact with different organizations, as well as it gives us stability because like it's very important for both private and the public sector what data science can bring them. That can really help them understand their customers and the people. So yeah, goal is to be here, and I'm happy that I'm part of this community, and I hope everyone here is inspired to be part of that community too. So yeah, thank you. Does anyone have questions?
Thank you so much for the talk, Rangel.
Sure.
So Marla?
Yeah. Thank you again so much, Rangel. I'm really sure our participants today are starting to realize like more how much positive change we can do with data science and how we can just genuinely use it to make practical and effective projects in addressing all these different issues that you were able to point out. And yeah, I'm really sure everyone is excited to learn more how to code and maybe start their jumpstart their data science career.
Definitely. Yeah, and I'm glad to know like lots of people are also excited. So
yeah, people are spamming the chat right now. So Jessie, is there anything you would
Yeah, I hope like everyone learned a lot about the importance of the future of data science. So I think we can now proceed to the question and answer portion.
Yeah, if anyone would like to ask a particular question, okay, there are people asking questions from the chat, or you could also raise your hand using the Zoom button in the participant, so you could unmute and ask your question yourself.
I think for now we can just alternate between chat and the ones raising their hands. So our first question is from Timmy. It's how receptive is the PH government to data science, like in the case study with UNDP, and how effective was it?
Actually, the Philippine government is starting to open up to data science over the years. They've started to see the impact that data science can bring, particularly, with the UNDP use case. Sorry, excuse me. Yeah, sorry, my throat's kind of dry today. Anyway, yeah, and actually even the DOH dashboard, like with the COVID response, we actually worked closely with DOH to kind of monitor the COVID situation. So actually the Philippine government is really receptive to it because they know that with those dashboards, they're able to monitor the progress of the virus carefully and like how best they can respond. So it really helps with their decision making.
Thank you for that.
Awesome.
Again, to our participants, if you want to ask a question personally, you guys can raise your hands on Zoom. But
Wow.
I think we did have a question from Jex that was answered already through your last slide. So we can move on to Fatima. How accurate is data science to predict the future?
Mm-hmm. Okay, that's a good question. So it depends on the data actually that you give a model. Like so a model is what predicts the future, right? So it depends on the data that you give it. So the more data, the more high quality data you can give that model, the more the predictions of the future will be accurate. So yeah, let's try to get more quality data for that. Okay.
Awesome. I agree as well. We actually have a very interesting question here from Julie. She's starting quite early. What is the ideal pathway to take in order to pursue data science for a high schooler?
Wow,
So-
okay. That's pretty cool. Yeah, even for a high schooler, I think you can start early. Like you can start attending workshops like this. I really think this is important. So it's great that you're here. That's a good start already. And then after this, you apply what you learn. So maybe start joining more boot camps or like just, doing Python related programming tutorials or workshops. And then I suggest really finding good internship opportunities. So you're still young, so maybe at the end of maybe at the start of college, you can start interning for a company. So yeah, that will be a good experience as well. Yeah, and actually Coursera, sorry. So I'm reading through the next question. So someone asked if you would recommend people to use Coursera. Yes, definitely. I think Coursera offers a lot of good courses to learn data science. So not just data science, even like machine learning specific, visualization specific courses. So all those 4 facets that I mentioned a while ago, you can actually learn them from Coursera and you can start from there.
Yeah, thank you for that. Actually, I'll just add on to Julie's question because we did have questions from our ambassadors previously. Does your college course matter if you want to work in the field of data science?
Oh, that's a good one. So actually, it doesn't matter as much, because your course determines like which subjects you're gonna take right through college. But on your free time, you can actually choose to learn by yourself. And yeah, you can go through Coursera, you can do internships, even if, for example, you're not an engineer, because like that's the usual stereotype, right? The stereotype is like, oh, maybe you did computer science before or statistics, but you don't have to be. In fact, in Thinking Machines, we have like machine learning researchers from biology, from several different fields that aren't necessarily computer science, because we think with data science, it's actually be able to understand phenomena around you. Like it doesn't have to be computer science lang, like it can be physics, biology, stuff like that. And we think being able to incorporate these other fields actually make it more robust, I would say, like would make things make more sense. Like you'd be able to understand it in different perspectives. So you don't have to be in computer science or yeah.
Awesome. There are a lot of questions actually flowing in. There was an interesting question I saw, particularly about the presentation. So this is from Cass. She said that she was very impressed with the machine learning on how they detect the informal settlers, but she wonders if there is data for them to be relocated somewhere safer.
Okay, so for that one, so this project was actually in cooperation with USAID. So it was USAID who had resources available at their disposal and were the ones who actually decided where to kind of relocate these informal settlers. So yeah, we're not super clear yet where exactly they went, but definitely it was through the support of USAID. Yeah.
So just to clarify, like you guys are really working outside of Southeast Asia. Like your clients
Yes.
are really all over the world. Oh my gosh, that's so cool.
Yeah. Yeah, it's so nice. Like we get to understand problems not just in Southeast Asia, but like through other countries as well.
If this were like a face-to-face setting, just to add on to that, would you be going to these places or would you really just be working remotely from the Philippines, for example?
Oh, actually, I have workmates who really went to Colombia before. So they went there because it's part of being able to understand the problem really well, because they needed to know exactly what the government needed, what the people needed. So they went on the ground and actually surveyed. So that's part of the job before the pandemic. But like now, so of course, like we're constrained in a remote setting, and we do our best to really help different people and clients address their problems. Yeah.
Awesome. And to think that it was really, I guess you guys were able to properly migrate your operations online. That's really
True.
amazing. And this other question I found also quite interesting is more on like the data ethics, I guess. Like, should we be afraid of too much data and how much machines are learning?
For this question, so it comes up a lot. I guess it depends also on the data that you give to your model, like what you want it to learn, right? Because like it's like a baby, it's like a kid that you're raising. Like these models are like kids, and then it depends on what you want them to learn. So if you want them to learn these bad things, then if that's the kind of data you feed them, then they're probably not going to give you good wisdom or action points to follow in the future. So I guess as data scientists or machine learning researchers, it's also part of the job to kind of understand what data we want or what information we want our models to learn. So yeah, we should be afraid. Like, yeah, it's a concern, but it's something we can control as data scientists and machine learning researchers.
Thank you for that. We have another question from Mark. I think this will really clarify for everyone. But wants to ask, what is the difference between data science, IT, and computer science?
Computer science, I think, is more it's more broad, I would say. It's like if it were a Venn diagram, it's like computer science is a big circle and then it has intersections with data science, yes. But data science is specifically for understanding data that comes from different sources and like having actionable insights from there. Computer science could be like making software or like web apps, etc., but not necessarily related to using big data or predicting things. So it's, I guess, a little bit more general. Yeah.
Got it. And actually, like scrolling through the questions again as well, a lot of the people are also asking about like your personal experiences, like maybe your challenges that you were able to experience, your first job aligned to data science, even internships. So maybe you could also share us about that, because others are also sharing and asking for advice about what they should take in the future.
Okay. Actually, okay. So for the internship thing, so Thinking Machines is actually looking for interns. So if anyone's interested, you can go apply through our website. You can just search for Thinking Machines, and then we have openings for interns. It could be in any of the 4 key areas I mentioned a while ago if you're interested. And then I guess tips to become a data scientist in the Philippines. I really think passion is one of the important things that will drive you. It's really not dependent on your course. Although I can't say for sure, but definitely I have coworkers that don't come from a tech background, but they're able to flourish now in data science because they wanted to learn it. Like they learn Python on their free time. They engage with different projects even outside their current work. For example, like even if your current work isn't data science, you can do data science on the side, like take courses, do projects, showcase it to people, and yeah, eventually you'll get feedback from these different people and you'll be able to build your own portfolio. And then maybe in the future you can actually shift your career to data science if you're at that stage. If you're a college student, I really recommend like going for internships, looking for mentors maybe that are data scientists that give you a clear direction on what you can do. So it could be your faculty or your friend. Yeah. Resources. Actually, I think I can send you this list. So this is actually a good set of resources that I can send. Or
yeah, we can definitely send that to our participants after the program. So that's gonna be really good.
Yeah. Okay. Sounds good.
So we actually have another question from Julie again. So what is the process of making a data science model besides collecting the data?
Okay, so actually the first step is understanding the problem, like in the client's perspective, like the person who needs help. We need to understand what exactly they want to do with their data. And then from there, we work with them collecting the data. And then we clean the data and then do modeling experiments. And eventually engineering things to scale it up, deploy it to the cloud, and then do visualizations for people's use. So yeah, basically that's how the process goes. So it's on like the 4 facets over here. Yeah, so basically it's 1, 2, 3, 4 in that order.
Okay, thank you so much again for answering that question. And I think we have time for just a few more. I think Jex is asking, apart from the internships, does Thinking Machines offer other workshops or other programs for interested people?
Yes, actually I think yes, we do offer workshops, but I think we have to you can actually listen in on the social media of Thinking Machines to have like once like workshop schedules are available. Yeah, but we do have internships and even job openings if anyone's interested. You can just go to our website and apply there. So yeah, you can follow us on Facebook or Twitter and go to our website.
Awesome. There's another question also. This is from Renz. So he's asking, so everyone seems to be pursuing machine learning. So if you were just starting out, don't you think it's already a saturated like field by the time he graduates? So he's still an incoming college student,
Mm-hmm.
and there are a lot of questions here also about like whether or not it's relevant for their course and all that.
Honestly, I think data science is everywhere. Like wherever you go, there's always going to be a company or a person in need of data science because there's an abundance of data right now. Like with the technology age, there's data coming everywhere, like from social media, from TikTok, things like that, Twitter. And it would be such a waste if like all this public data like just stay there. If especially using them, we can actually do some analysis and get insights about the people and like what they need, what they want. So yeah, I don't think we're going to stop having an influx of data throughout the years. And that means we need more people to analyze this data, to process these data and give us useful insights that are actionable for the different people. So yeah, I honestly don't think it'll be saturated. If anything, I think the demand would increase from now to like a few years from now because data is very versatile. Like you can use it for a lot of things. So yeah.
Oh, okay. So this is a really good question. I think it's really aligned with our theme today, which is tech in the time of the pandemic. Do the contact tracing apps that were developed use data science? And in what way is data science applied in these said apps?
Yeah, actually, there are apps that we've developed that use video, for example, and kind of track like the movements of people like through CCTV cameras and kind of identify, okay, are these people like 6 feet apart? Are they following proper social distancing guidelines and stuff like that? And through that, we're able to send like the owners of those, like for establishments, for example, that want to track the safety of their employees, they send that information to the server so they can kind of track, okay, which people have interacted with each other, which ones were within 6 feet of each other. Yeah, which is basically for contact tracing.
Yeah, that's really cool po. I guess maybe just a question for me, since we're talking about tech at the time of the pandemic. How has your work setup really changed this last year? And how has your life changed over the past year being a data scientist?
To be honest, I don't think it was that much of a difference because most of our work is in the cloud. Like our clients are sometimes like overseas, so we get to talk to them through Zoom. So thankfully there are apps like Zoom, and there are cloud infrastructures like GCP or AWS, and they help us work remotely, so we don't have to be in the same office space as everyone else to work together. And I think that's also part of the reason why teamwork is very much valued for us, because we need to be able to communicate with each other even if we're not physically together. Yeah, I'm happy that I'm still able to do my work because it's like mostly electronic and data related things, because I know that through my work we're able to deliver lots of impact to different people and actually help communities in the Philippines. So yeah.
Thank you for that. I think we just have one last question, actually on behalf of the WeTech team. Do you have any final message for all of our participants today?
Yeah, I'm really happy that everyone's interested in data science and everyone sees the potential. I really hope that through this workshop, everyone learns and gets their foundation built. So eventually you'd be able to contribute and become a part of the data science community, which can help the Philippines, like our fellow Filipinos, thrive and have resources allocated to them properly if needed. So yeah, go for it.
Awesome.
Right.
Thanks so much.
Thank you as well. Really happy that I got to talk with you guys today.